Hello everyone, welcome back to the Launchpad. We are here with another exciting announcement to discuss with you guys. Please bring us the questions to the service team. I'm joined by Danilo, my fellow evangelist, and I'll let the service team introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Yoni Friedman. I'm a product manager in the AWS Artificial Intelligence Group, product manager for Amazon Translate.
Hi, I'm Hassan Sawaf. I'm director for applied science and artificial intelligence in Amazon AI in AWS.
Awesome. So we are talking about Amazon Translate here, and this is joined by the amazing AI and machine learning services that we have this week. And how is it different? What's different between the traditional translation approaches to what we are doing now?
Awesome. Let me actually show you how is it different.
Okay. Can we switch your screen?
Awesome. So on the screen right now, we can see a pocket knife from Amazon.de. It's the Swiss officer's Wenger giant knife. It's even hard for me to pronounce a little bit. Mind you, this knife has 87 tools and offers 141 functions guaranteed. This is what a customer wrote about it in German in 2015. And here's how one open sourced, pretty widely used engine might have translated this, or would have translated this recommendation or review. I'm just going to read it out loud. Really a very good pocket knife. Had yesterday after breakfast something poppy hang between the teeth. Because I once again found no toothpicks, I ordered mine without further ado, this pocket knife. The integrated toothpick NER 3 is very stable, and very quickly I could clean my teeth. Super. To the rest I can tell nothing, unfortunately, because I him not be emergency.
I would have stuck to the German.
You would have stuck to the German.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I would have probably too. So, you know, the person reading this can kind of get the gist of things, but not that great, let's be honest. Now let's look at what our current neural engines would do. Really a very good pocket knife. Had a little poppy between the teeth yesterday after breakfast. Since I didn't find a toothpick again, I ordered this pocket knife shortly. The integrated toothpick number 3 is very stable and I could clean my teeth very quickly. Great. I can't say anything about the rest because I don't need it. So
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I mean,
sense.
you know, the meta point that we want to make here is that we still have some work to do with these machine translation engines, but this is much closer to how a human would have translated this.
And this really comes from Amazon? Like, is this what we use on the e-commerce website to translate reviews?
So we're still rolling out these engines to our own product reviews, so you won't see this translation there just yet, because these are brand new engines. We're rolling them out as we speak.
And could you tell us a bit about it under the hood? What is there?
Sure, I can take that. So the original, what you saw, the initial translation which you saw is basically much more closer to a word-to-word translation, much more literal. It doesn't take so much context into account. The good thing is that we are using now neural networks. The systems are much more able to semantically understand the inputs, which means it will be able to think a little bit outside the box instead of translating word by word or phrase by phrase, and that's why the quality is so good. That's the same like us, right? If we do translation, we use our memory, our attention to understand words in a larger context, in a domain, and so forth. That's basically what this machine translation is doing.
Cool. And how is language support looking?
So for preview, we're going to enable 12 translation directions. This is going to be from English to Arabic, simplified Chinese, Spanish, Portuguese, German, and French, and vice versa. That's how we get to 12. But by GA, you can expect many more languages, and we'll keep adding languages as we go.
And is it already available through the console SDK command line?
Yeah, so you can use it through the AWS CLI, and you can also use it through multiple SDKs that we've provided.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And Is this fast enough for real time? Could we do live translation with this?
That's another great question, Julia. I feel like you've prepared for this. Can we show a quick demo?
Of course. Let's go.
My name is Kashif Imran, and I'm a Senior Solutions Architect at AWS. This is a brief walkthrough of the app showing real-time translation of Twitch chat. Here you see I'm on a Twitch channel where a streamer is playing game and live streaming it on the channel. You also see live chat on the right side of the screen. This is a German channel, so most of the communication happening here on the channel is obviously in German. I don't speak German, but this channel sounds interesting, and I'm curious to know about the conversation happening on this channel. Let's see how we can get this real-time chat translated and understand the conversation happening on this channel. Let me copy the name of the channel and switch to the app. I'll paste the name of the channel, select the source language, in this case we'll choose German, select the target language, which in this case I'll choose English, and click go.
Connect to channel _SAN. You should now be getting live chat messages.
And voila, we are connected to the channel. We're getting the real-time messages on the left side of the screen, and the translation of those messages are on the right side of the screen. Let me go ahead and introduce myself to the channel. So if I type a message and hit send, you can see even though I typed the messages in English, it got translated in German. And if we switch back to the channel, you can see it's also posted in the channel in German. Now let's look at another channel with Twitch app and our translation app side by side. You see as messages are coming in the chat, they are instantly being translated and displayed in our translation app on the right side of the screen. Now let's talk briefly about how the application is built. Here you can see the architecture of our app is quite simple. Our app uses a Node.js library to connect to Twitch chat and start receiving real-time messages. As those messages come in, we use AWS SDK to call Amazon Translate, get the translated messages back, and display them in the UI. If user enable the voice option, we then use AWS SDK to call Amazon Poly and get the synthesized speech back for those messages and then play them back to the user. Let's now dig a little bit deeper and look at the code to see how the application is built. Looking at the code, the app has two files, index.html and app.js. Index.html has all the necessary UI elements to get user input and show messages. App.js has less than 100 lines of code to get real-time messages from Twitch chat, get those messages translated, and then display on the UI. As you can see, we'll begin with some initialization code to wire up the UI. Then we have onChat function, which gets called when the messages arrive. We then call Amazon Translate to get those messages translated and display in the UI. As you can see, more than half of the code here is to wire up UI elements and getting and setting values for those elements. Whereas the code to translate the messages are only a few lines of code. In this case, I used Twitch chat as one of the source for real-time message translations using Amazon Translate. It can easily be applied to many other real-time streaming text scenarios like other chat platforms, customer service interactions, message boards, and more.
Done.
Oh. Wow, that looks impressive.
That was
very,
awesome.
very cool.
Yeah. So
Love to see Twitch everywhere. I see Twitch, my hair goes purple.
in fact, we got a few questions from Twitch. So that's a question from Pinox1. How does this tool work with other platforms such as Alexa, for example?
So with Alexa, we are not integrated, but we built this service to be integrated with other services, things like Transcribe, which we came up with as well yesterday, or Comprehend, and they work very well together. So you can expect that, for example, when you do speech translation You can take speech input, translate it from, let's say, English into Spanish, use Poly to speak it out again in Spanish, and then the other user can speak Spanish, recognize it through transcribe, do translation with translate, and then use Poly to speak it back into English.
Build your own Babelfish.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. So that's the idea. And also for comprehend, I mean, oftentimes people use translate for Amazon Translate for large amounts of data, and they want to extract information. Being able to do named entity recognition, sentiment analysis, and other things is critical. So yeah, they're designed to be combined.
They're really interesting use cases.
Yes, yes.
And what do you see people building with this? Do you have ideas of what developers could come up with?
Yeah, so we think that the biggest use cases for this, on one hand, are situations where you have very large amounts of data, very large text information flowing in on one hand, and on the other hand, that same data also being created and deprecated very fast. So think about situations like any kind of user-authored content. So we saw the live chat situation. We can think about user reviews for various websites that we might know of. Think about various types of forums where people talk to each other, and so on and so forth. And another big use case for this tool, I think, is what Hassan kind of alluded to before, which is situations where a company needs to take a very large amount of data and extract some sort of insight from it where the data is multilingual. So imagine a situation where you need to do like an e-discovery process, where think you need to go through 200,000 emails in multiple languages for some case litigation, and you need to narrow it down to the 100 that you really need to read and get what they mean. So you need to translate all of these, perhaps run Comprehend or some other text analytics tool on the translated text, extract whatever insight you need, and then be able to narrow it down to the really essence of the information that you're looking for. And to be clear, these types of use cases in today's world, they're the vast majority of the information that companies has.
Sure.
Yeah.
I see a lot of questions about the training and how long would it take to train a model, and how does the precision looks like, and a lot of the internals. And just to make it clear, and you could help me with this, so you don't need to care for any of that.
No.
We are speaking about it out of curiosity. Is everything embedded in the service, right?
You mean the quality of translations?
No, the speed of how fast we do updates. So we're continuously updating. I mean, we're trying to live with what data is out there and so forth, and continuously updating. Our scientists are not sitting back and just focusing on new languages, for example. They're continuously doing updates and all of this. What the frequency is going to be, we'll have to learn to see what makes most sense. We know that language lives, which means changes, which means new content comes in. We collect our data from so many different sources, and there's new domains coming up all the time. So we need to basically continuously learn. So we're going to be listening to you guys.
This is completely on your side, nothing that developers
Exactly.
must keep in mind.
Yeah, so developers don't
we do
need
the
to worry
heavyweight.
about that.
And is there anything you say developers should keep in mind while developing translatable applications in general?
I think it's the applying it to the right use cases. So make sure that your expectations in terms of quality, because we want to set the record straight, we want to be clear. This is incredible, like we saw in the demo and like we saw in the text that I presented. This is great, but even in that text that I showed, we still had a couple of hiccups in that translation. So you want to make sure that you're using it for the right purposes and that you have the right expectations. And like I said, in the vast majority of data, that user-authored data that you want to give your consumers access to, that's where you want to apply it. you probably don't want to go and apply it to a translation of your one-pager advertising document of your company that you just send that one page across the world. That you can have just a human translated, or in some cases you can run a first version through machine translation, which is what many translation agencies do. Run the first version through machine translation and then basically make the human translators much more efficient and effective in their work.
Cool. And do we have anything from the stream?
No, we don't have other questions.
And what about people getting started with it? I know you guys are in preview right now, so how should people get into it?
Yeah, so I'm hoping that we can paste the link into the chat window. Just
fill the form, apply for it.
Just fill out the form. We really look forward to people filling that out, and really look forward for feedback and application.
And any specific information that you would like as feedback?
I'd be really interested to hear what are people going to use it for specifically in their companies. That's really by far the best thing in building these services is seeing what your customers build. And what we've seen in the closed beta has just been incredible, and for me it's just bliss to look at what people build with it.
That's cool. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So,
awesome. Thank you guys for joining us on Twitch.
Thanks you
and congratulations for this amazing announcement.
Thanks very much.
Thanks. Go build.
See you guys.